Move a bit, move a bit. It's really hard to film with the windows open. The sleeves are... there's a helicopter flying by. Waiting for that to pass. We now have something looking a little... seam areas where the side seam... Oh my gosh. It's too hot to think. It's too hot to talk. The bobbin with the elastic thread is in my bobbin cape. Oh no. Watch out! Watch out! Hi everybody, my name is Elisa and welcome back to my channel. Today is a total scorcher here in the UK. It's almost 30 degrees already and it's only 10:30 in the morning. This is very unusual for this geographical area, and it's also super humid, so if it does hit 30 degrees, the heat is real. So I'm gonna go have brunch with my friend Lorraine tomorrow morning, and I was thinking I'm gonna make myself the perfect dress for this hot heat. Something that's easy breezy, easy to get in, easy to get out, and kind of absorbs the sweat, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna be working with this beautiful pink Vichy gingham fabric. I think this is 100% viscose, which makes it like super breathable. I've had this fabric for almost a year, and initially I wanted to make a blazer with it. However, the procrastination is real. I'm still super scared of making like jackets and blazers and things like that. I don't feel like I'm quite there yet, but that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna make this fabric and something else very beautiful. It's basically just a smock dress, which means the top is all sheared and the skirt is just a square, just as the sleeves are just squares. I actually made this exact type of dress already last year. I'm gonna link the video to that one in the description, so if you want to reproduce the pattern, there's a very good explanation of how to do it in that video, which means there is nothing left for me to do than to actually go and make it. I think that this is a one-day project. It's definitely beginner friendly, so let's see if you like the result. Alright, here's the first look at the zero waist milkmaid dress pattern. As I said, it's squares. So we have 2 layers of each. These are the sleeves, this is the bodice, and this is the skirt. First up, I'm going to sew the sides of the skirt together with my serger to save myself a step. Then I can gather up the waistline of the skirt and fit it to my bodice. So the skirt is prepped, and now I can move on to the bodice, which I'm gonna switch things around a little bit, because usually when I do something like this, I shear the entire piece before I assemble it with the rest of the dress. However, this time I'm thinking I'm going to attach the skirt to the top before I shear the top. And that is because if I was to shear it first, then I would have to stretch it out and try to attach the skirt so that it's not, you know, like too small or too big, or, you know, it's just a little bit more difficult. So I'm thinking I'm gonna try to attach it before I shear it, because why not? So first up, as I basically did with the skirt, I'm going to serge the center back, and then I'm going to serge both the top and the waist as well. So we've got the tube, which is going to become the bodice. I'm now going to top stitch the center back seam down just to secure it and make sure this is never ever going to rip open. Now I'm going to decide which side is the upper side, which really doesn't matter at all. So I'll say this is the upper side. I'm gonna fold this over once, and then I'm gonna fold it over once again, so I create a little channel situation where I can insert an elastic. And the lovely thing about working with checker prints or Vichy prints is that the little checks and the geometric pattern are really a great guide. This is gonna make it so much easier in the shearing process, because I can just follow the lines. Alright, so I gave up I had to open the windows at this point. It's still a little bit warmer outside than inside, but I do need a breeze. So I gave up and opened the windows. So if you hear kids playing, that's my neighbors. All right, so I have just done what I said I would do, which is overturn the top of the bodice and top stitch it down. I left a little section, really just a tiny little section here open so I can insert the elastic later. But that means that the bodice is prepared to be attached to the skirt. So I'm gonna grab my skirt and show you that obviously the skirt is much wider, almost double as wide as the bodice, which means we need to gather it down. And to gather it down, I'm gonna take it to my machine. I'm gonna set my stitch length to the biggest one available, which is 5 for me. And I'm gonna add a basting stitch to the waist that is not closed at the beginning or the end, so I can then gather the skirt. All right, so I added the basting stitch and now I can gather it down. Let me measure how much I need to gather it down to. So basically 114, that's how much I need to gather it down, which means the circumference of my waist in the bodice, which we're gonna shear later. So I need to gather it down to 114. We are at a point where the skirt is gathered and now I can attach it to the bodice. And I've just marked my 2 side seam areas where the side seam, oh my gosh, it's too hot to think, it's too hot to talk. So I marked the 2 areas where the side seams would be so I can align them with the actual side seams on the skirt. And as always, I want to make sure that the right sides are touching, which means just checking where the seam allowances are on the skirt and on the top, and then just starting to pin the skirt to the bodice in a few strategic areas, and then we can start taking it from there. So now I can pull the skirt through the top and then just pin the rest. This was fun. So we now have something that looks a little bit something like this. A very, very large dress. It's actually, I mean, you know, you could go with this if you wanted to, but we're gonna downsize this to our actual size in the shirring process. Now this is like totally done, totally finished. All the inside seams are serged and look clean and nice. And through the serging process, now this is gonna become super like milkmaid-y. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to also finish the sleeves before I start with the shirring process, because the shirring process is so tedious and it's definitely going to be the part that takes the longest. So also I need to change my bobbin thread and exchange it for the elastic thread. So I'm going to finish the sleeves before I actually start the shirring process. That's the plan. I've just sewn the sleeves together, so just sewn the side seams together and serged the shoulder curve and the cuff. And now I can continue with finishing the cuff by folding it up. How much am I? That's up to taste. So I'm gonna fold it up once like this, as I did with the top of the bodice, and then placing it down like that. I think that's what I'm gonna do. It is still boiling. It is almost 6 o'clock in the evening and I'm almost finished with the dress. Well, I'm finished with dress assembly, but the shirring is very much still to come. And I just wanted to insert the elastic to my sleeve cuffs. So the sleeves currently look like this. Just a very large, very loose sleeves. So the idea is that all of this is going to be gathered up with an elastic, but I don't have the right kind. The elastics I have are either too narrow or too wide, and I wanted to go out anyway, so I think I'll head out and run some errands and enjoy the sunshine and try to find the right kind of elastic so I can finish this up at a later point. If I'm super ambitious, I might try to finish it tonight, but I don't know yet. Let's see. so I get the right kind of elastic at Sainsbury's, so I can continue doing what I was doing, which is to insert the elastic here. We have come to the point of no return. We are going to start the shearing process, which I assume is going to take hours because we have quite a lot of it to do. So I've got here core bond elastic thread, which I'm going to hand wind onto my bobbin. Alright, so the bobbin with the elastic thread is in my bobbin case, and the thing you want to make sure is that the thread actually gets caught by the tension disc. If it doesn't, then you won't be able to build tension to achieve this look. You will want to use a bigger stitch length on your sewing machine, and you don't want to lock the beginning or the end of your threads. You're going to tie those up manually by hand eventually. Okay, so I tested this and it looks actually really good. I think this fabric is great to be sheared. And now I can start the process that is shearing this entire bodice piece. So basically, I'm going to start way down here at the waist seam in the center back. So I'm going to put it to my machine like this, and I'm going to sew circles. I'm going to sew around the bodice until I eventually reach the top. And I need to be careful to make sure that I always have enough thread in my bobbin case so that I'm not running out of it and then have a loose end and everything comes undone. So this is a game of patience and also a game of paying attention, because you want to make sure you're not running out. So this is what I'm going to do. This is going to be a process of, I assume, hours. So I am going to grab my iPad and watch something on Netflix on the side. Let's go.
My Smock!
Look at this, it is sheared and it looks gorgeous. I'm so excited. So I don't know if you can remember, but I created this tunnel up here, and I think I will add an elastic in it. So this is not necessarily a ruffle, but it's just gonna keep it all nice and tight. So that's what I'm gonna do now and see what it looks like. Alright, so I just filled some elastic into the shoulder curve, and now the sleeves are ready to be attached to the dress. And I'm just gonna do that by sussing out where my sides are. Alright, so place the needle where the sides seem to be, and then I'm going to pop this sleeve with the center point onto that point where the needle is, and I'm gonna pin it down. That worked, and now I'll attach the other side the same way, and then I'll hem the skirt, and then I'm done. This is gonna end up in the
Oh really? Oh really? Hi. Please subscribe.